What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start?
Round one.
We got an amazing show for you here today, so lock in. We're going to be covering and answering a lot of questions here on this William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson fight. I want to know your reactions on this Floyd Schofield and Abdullah Mason situation. What you guys think about this? We're going to talk about all that and more. So do me a favor, hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into this episode. Let's go. Let's go. What's up? Good afternoon, everybody out there, all you boxing fans. We're getting closer to this Naoya Inoue May 4th fight and the rest of the fight card with Ryan Garcia and Rowley and Devin Haney, Ramirez. We got Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza. And those are just a few good fights on that card itself. And then you got the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight card coming May 3rd, right? And that's a big night for boxing right there, because if Saul is successful, and I mean that, right? And we all think that Saul's going to win, but this is boxing and shit happens. Am I right? Am I right? So we got to give the IBF champion his flowers too as well. He's going in there and he's putting it on the line too as well. So, may the best man win in that fight. And then we got May 4th, the Japanese superstar is coming to America. He will be in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. Naoya Inoue. He will be fighting Roman Cardin. And I will be in attendance for that fight. So I can't wait for that fight card to kick off. And we got some rumor potential fights that are in the making, because I went to BoxRec and there's no official William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson fight. It's not sketched in stone yet. And with all these speculations and rumors about going around with Shakur Stevenson's hands now, I think this is becoming a problem. There's it leaked out through, certain boxing groups that every time Shakur Stevenson gives it a while and lets his hand heal and go down, every time he goes back to training, when they take the glove off, it's swelled the hell back up. It's becoming a problem now. And it seems like Shakur might have gotten to the point where his body is not going to be responding to, from all the years of not taking care of injuries. And this is what happens to a lot of boxers and boxers' careers, right? Some of these kids grew up in like real ran down gyms, and the equipment wasn't the best. By the time somebody recognized you in your teenage years and was like, hey, this kid, and you got better equipment to train around, right? And you really probably didn't have, that's all you had. So every time you accumulated an injury, boxers are like bred to be tough men. Don't complain about shit. Just if you fuck up this hand, train with this one until that hand heals, type shit. Throughout the years, not everybody got enough money to go to the doctor and pay a medical bill. And they just keep going throughout their career. And then finally they get to a point where their body just gives out. Their hand, all those fractures and all those minor breaks that you sustain and you basically healed on your own, it all turns on you. All that built up cartilage, all that wear and tear on your hands. And some boxers' hands will give out, such as Floyd Mayweather. If Floyd Mayweather was born with Roberto Duran's hands, forget about it. I mean it. Forget about it. The kind of things he would have done. Mayweather honestly was never scared to fight no man. No man in his weight division, the one above or the one behind. That's the honest to God truth. Whether or not his hands could back that up, he knew it. Floyd knew it. Floyd knew. He was like, man, if I had two good hands, I'd beat the shit out of you. But Floyd even thinks about hitting that guy hard, he might fracture one hand and hit him with the other, and then now he's fucked. Now both his hands are broken, and you're in the middle of a fight. So that went through Floyd's mind in his career. It had to, and Shakur right now, what do I think about Shakur Stevenson? Does he need William Zepeda right now? Does he need this fight with William? If he's not fighting Gervonta Davis or Loma, what the hell is Loma doing? Yeah, like, does he need the Zepeda fight? Shakur got other options, but when you look, like, if we were to look up, I don't know. Let's we can look up Shakur or Zepeda. If you was to okay, off top, right? He fought Josh Padley last, right? He's got Oscar Valdez on his record, and I think his strongest win is, for my opinion, I think it's Edwin De Los Santos for Shakur Stevenson. I think that Yoshina. I think that's if I messed it up, I'm sorry. Yoshina was I'm not gonna say he was one of the top guys neither, like, championship type dude and shit. Like Artem Hamtumin, I messed up his name a little bit, but Artem, I wouldn't say that's like the great, like I'm saying, like I'm thinking over Shakur's resume, and Edwin De Los Santos right now up in the 135 division. He did some shit at 130 and shit like that, right? He got the belts down there, right? But what I'm saying to you guys is this: does he need William Zepeda? And does William Zepeda need him right now? Shakur Stevenson is at least he's the WBC world champion of the world. William Zepeda was number one once upon a time across the board and never fought for a belt. So let's see if Oscar and them will put this fight together, right? And those hand problems that Shakur's having, let me tell you guys something, right? Had Floyd Schofield not backed out of that fight, Shakur would have injured his hand somewhere in the third, fourth round in that fight. He would have been fighting with one hand. Floyd's best chance of beating him would have probably been going through with the fight. He might have beat Shakur Stevenson. We don't know. If Shakur's hands keep getting hurt like this, and y'all saw the hand the way it looked just before leading into the fight, that shit had a big slice down, and it was like that big already. When he was in the interview saying that he felt the Schofields was going to pull out the fight, his hand was like that big already. Had Schofield and them stayed the course, he might be coming off one of the biggest wins of his career, Floyd Schofield. But to tell you the truth, I think that Schofield dude, his father, he's got issues. He got conspiracy theory issues. That man thinks that people are out to get him and his son. I'm not sure if he knows this, but brother, you're not that important. No one wants to avoid your son No one's afraid of you or your son. All this fear and people out to get you is all made up in your head. You sound like the Charles Barkley of boxing. Bro, you talk like a killer. You talk like your son's the best. He hasn't competed for a world title. He's not a champion. So I don't understand. Like your son, yeah, he's a good boxer. Okay. He's not the Michael Jordan of boxing. There is no one I've ever heard in an interview that said, bro, if anybody in the division I need to look after or look out, avoid, it's Floyd Schofield. Never heard anyone say that. Never heard anyone say if Floyd Schofield was walking down the street, I would cross the street. Why? Does your son just get up in the morning and just start smacking people? He should be outside smacking people right now. The way you talk about how many people have hate and coming after him, there should be shit being thrown through his window right now. It's just while I'm doing this interview, your son's so tough, he should be fighting somebody. That's all hype. That's all like bullshit. And he went on and said that, and it's just so crazy with the Schofields, man. It's just like I'm wondering if the rest of the world can see this man's delusion. You know, I don't follow everybody's YouTube channel, right? And I kind of like staying in my lane right now with mine. And so I just been like avoiding what everybody's saying, but I'm pretty sure these YouTube streets is calling them out on this. I'm more than 100 because these YouTube streets is ruthless. And I'm gonna tell you right now, right? That shit that he said in the car, he told Turkey, yes, yesterday's prices is not today's prices, and that you offered him $1.1 million to fight Shakur Stevenson on Floyd Schofield. And that he said that now give me 2.5 and we'll fight him. Like we're not ducking. He's trying to like get in front of a story. But here's the problem with his story. The math doesn't add up. You sound like a used car salesman. When has your son ever been worth $2.5 million? And who on planet Earth would actually award you $2.5 million to fight a non-title fight? When in a title fight, they were only offering you 1.1 for a belt. To fight a rising prospect, you want 2.5? Brother, your math doesn't add up. Your son is not worth 1.1. That was generous to fight Shakur Stevenson because, damn it was a title fight. Had that not been a title fight, it should be less money than 1.1. You're talking like you guys went out there and beat Shakur Stevenson, and you're coming back and you're asking for more money. You sound like you guys went out there and beat Shakur. You're coming from avoiding a fight. Remember this. Cops pulling you over, finding drugs in the car, but letting you go because thank God for tow truck drivers. Remember your story, brother? They just unhandcuffed 2 black men with drugs in the car because of a tow truck. Yeah. Where's that happen? Like, brother, you are delusional. You are delusional. And I think you're sick in the head, and somebody needs to get him away from his son. I think he's got his son in fear, and his son is afraid to speak up against his father. He looks like an old hustle pimp dude from the street that if he feels like you're disloyal to him, he'll probably pull out a gun on his son. He's that kind of man. I've seen those kind of men before. He's probably got his son in fear of him. And they need to get him away from him. I've seen toxic human beings like that. Everything he says, everything out of his mouth, my God. My God. You ever, listen, in the hood, right? I grew up in bad neighborhoods. And there were drugs in my neighborhood and there were addicts. And the one thing I noticed about addict behavior, they always had a problem. In addict's life, every day, 25, hey, what's going on? Man, listen. They turned off the lights and I got no food and then this morning I had a job, but a plane fell and it hit the bus. Yep. Like, they always got some wild, crazy, outrageous story. And something's always happening to them. Yo, that's what that dude reminds me of. But I don't think, maybe he's not doing, I'm not saying he's doing a substance. I think he's just like that. Conspiracy theory, talk about delusion, right? Like, his delusional grandeur doesn't even add up. Like, when you say all these stories, what you do is you go back to the source. Who are they talking about? You look at who they're talking about. You? Floyd's who the fuck would want to do that to you? Why? Because you're a threat to who? You're a threat to what division? Who wants to stop you from being a world champion? Who? I don't get it. The kid is way beatable. There's a lot of guys up there that will rock him. Like, straight rock him. And he's going to find that out. Why would they need to cheat you to beat you? Just get in the ring. And the thing is, his father sees that. He knows. He wants to talk with the big boys. He's just not ready. Who knows? Maybe one day he will be ready. But with a dad like that, doing that to your career, putting all these, my man, like, we never asked for these fucking stories out of your mouth. If you just shut up and either let your son fight or not fight. Talk with these. Do your working with these right here. Right? Let your son grow. Let the fans see his work. Let me see what you got. What you working with, kid? But this motherfucker, his dad, he get up on the mic and he want airtime. He thinks he's the same thing as his son, the father. He thinks he has the same status of his son without doing absolutely nothing. He ain't completed nothing. He ain't did shit. He ain't about shit. Nothing. Just running his mouth. Now, his son is a gladiator. His son is a warrior. His son laces it up. His son is an active professional boxer. He thinks, the father, he's on his son's level. No, play your part. Put on your pom-poms with your cheerleading suit, with your skirt on, and cheer for your son. Don't ruin him. Don't destroy, like, bro, I'm a grown-ass man. You really think those lies you told, people gonna believe that shit? You, brother, there has to be a million of me's out there hearing him rant on like that and being like, bro, like cringing, like, bro, you making us look bad. You making us look bad. Like, your son is an American fighter, bro. Fucking right. I wanna just talk him up as a fighter. I want him to get in there. Let's get it, baby. Show the world. But the way he doing it, mm-mm, mm-mm. I ain't never in my life. I've been angry at my dad. I can't ever say I ever want to put hands on him. And my dad came at me one time with like a fucking crowbar, bro. He was actually outside doing it, but he was pissed off at something, and I was fucking with him, and he was like, "Motherfucker!" And he came. I was like, "Oh, man." Right? And then I ran like 10 feet and laughed at him. I was like, "Oh man, put the crowbar down!" Right? And I just had him frustrated that day, right? But I ain't never wanted to punch my dad. I never wanted to put my hands. And plenty of times, bro. And I don't remember some shit when I was a kid with him hitting my mom and shit, but that was then. And I was like, my dad is older, and I would never raise my hand to my dad, bro. But I said all of that to say this. If I was a professional boxer and I was Floyd Schofield, my dad started saying those outrageous stories in those times, I think I would have knocked him out right there. Yo, chill. yo, nah. What you mean? They found drugs, broke into our hotel room, just stole one page out of the passport. They trying to sabotage us. You're poison. He put the thing on them and took a picture. Bro, that's too much, bro. That's some shit that we not forgetting that shit, bro. That's too much, man. That is truly too much. And like, so Floyd has an opportunity right now, right? Where I think, look, the Abdullah Mason fight really wouldn't do anything for his claim of being like the top fighters and beating the top fighters in the division, because Abdullah is coming up the ladder, and we know that as far as like, see, he was already offered a title fight. You know what I'm saying? He was already offered it by fighting Abdullah. That would be kind of like going backwards, wouldn't it? And you're going like backwards and asking for more money and didn't even complete on your contract with your last fight that was offered your biggest payday. So Floyd Schofield, man, I don't know where you're gonna get $2.5 million for fighting a prospect, but good luck with that. Good luck with that. Um, I actually think he should have relived the possibility of trying to fight Shakur Stevenson. Now Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda and them, and a lot of these fights were announced, but I don't think so. I'm not even sure if that ever emerged, to tell you the truth, and that's what I was gonna say in this segment, that I'm not sure if William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson even get in a ring with each other. I'm not. At least Keyshawn Davis is doing some interesting shit by fighting Edwin De Los Santos. If Keyshawn Davis can put up a better performance than Shakur Stevenson in that fight, then I think, yeah, like, you know, because I like Keyshawn Davis for that. I do. That's a good fight. And attacking Edwin De Los Santos when, bro, your career is in your hands. If you have an extensive layoff, that's on you. You just want to sign up for this fight? I think Keyshawn Davis is coming to his own as a fighter. Each time I've seen him, he looked that much better. After that little period of little hiccup that Keyshawn had, where he got a fight canceled because of testing positive for marijuana, and another fight got ruled a no contest because of marijuana. And those are two fights. He kind of wised up in that situation and really decided with himself what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to become a world champion, Keyshawn Davis. He went out, set out on a mission, picked out the champion, knocked him out. And it was great. It was great. And Keyshawn Davis is right now. He's riding on a high with his brothers right now. They got him like on billboards, all three of them and shit. And he's showing his brothers, bro. This is the way. This is the way right here. We're fighters. This is the way. And you guys want to do fightings on the street and stuff for no money, and be out there trying to hustle and throw your life away. No, this is the way. We could put hands on dudes. I'm gonna pause. We could beat the brakes off people, right? And get away with it. And get away. And they're actually gonna pay you money to punch people in the face. Come on, brothers. Like that fighting on the street for free is not the way. And he's taking his brothers with him now. And his brothers are like believing, when we were kids growing up and stuff, the thought of being a world champion or a fighter was there, but sometimes it didn't seem real. It didn't seem like we would be the chosen ones just to be pro, and that's how many distractions are out there in the world, and some of my distractions came with a set of titties and a big ass, and it was a distraction. It was distractions. And so, like, Abdullah Mason, he's a top prospect trying to turn into contender. When he got dropped in that fight, right? A lot of us, including myself, saw that he was rushing in for the kill. He was a little defensively not doing the right thing defensively. He was dropping his hand. He has this habit of once he goes into exchanges, punches, his defense goes down and he rests his hand right underneath his chin. He's got like that style where if I show the coach at least my hands here, I can just go like that real fast. But in the heat of the moment in exchanges, he brings his hands back here and he goes like this. And he was caught. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Abdullah Mason, when he go back and watch that fight, right? When he hits him, the dude tweaks his knee. He couldn't put any weight on his knee. He was a wounded duck at that point. Yeah. And then he still dropped Abdullah with one leg. He timed him, bam, and hit him. And you could see the dude can crack. So I was like, he's still learning on the job, Abdullah. And for Schofield to say that they want all that money to fight a non-title fight, it was like truly like I thought it was out of character, and it was a blatant flag, like a red flag popped up, and I was like, he's pricing himself out. He's pricing himself out to get this money, or they gambling on 2.5 to take a loss. Your son is not worth 2.5 million in any scenario. I don't give a fuck if you fought Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda back to back the same night, the Schofields. You could do two fights and you're not worth 2.5. No, I give you 1 million for each fight. How are you gonna convince me? Because by paying him 2.5, right? That's only one fighter. What's the other guy getting paid? So how much is this fight gonna cost them? And how many people are you gonna come out to come see your son? So how many tickets can the Schofield sell? And where? Where on planet Earth are they gonna fill up? Let's give them 14,000 people for him to main event. You're not worth 2.5, bro. That whoever gives that man 2 point, bro, a sucker is born every day then. Your son's not worth 1. $1 million. There's no, you've never made $1 million in none of your fight. Like, what are you talking? Like, these dudes are just there, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I really don't know. This man acts like he got the 1.1 million for his last fight. Like he actually received it. Like if they actually fought Shakur, that's how they're talking. Yo, his words has no weight. Not it. Yo, if you was to walk up on me in the street with that bullshit, come on, bro. You know we're gonna have a problem. Where's my money? That's no. It don't even sound right. I know you smoked the work. Where's man? Listen. Talk about the cops was coming out of jump. The fan. Yeah, right. Yo, bro. It's so outrageous of a price that when I heard it, I didn't even react. It took me 3 to 4 days just to respond right now to what he said. Because I was just like, oh my God. Everybody else, you guys got him. I can imagine all the stuff they've already said. I was like, I went like this, and I was like, I could just see all the channels. Bing, bing, headlines. Bing, bing, in my head. I'm like, I could just see them all now. Everybody cracking up, laughing, 10, and I could see it. And I was just like, boy, I tell you, man, some of these guys that just don't want to fight guys, and they just don't want to say it. Listen, if your son wasn't him and he wasn't ready and he was moving himself up, you should carry yourself more like Fernando Vargas' son there. Uh El General, right? Emilio. Some of the champions have said things about him. He says, yo. I'm down here. You're up there as a champion. Why are you even mentioning my name? Let me work my way up. And I know that I need some work to do. And I'm just going to keep beating the guys they put in front of me. And when the day comes that I'm at that level, believe me, I'm going to give you a knock on your door. Yo, straight, honest, clear as day. I respect you, young man. I respect you. When Alan David Picasso pulled out of the fight with Naoya Inoue, and his father went online and said, my son ain't ready for that monster. I am not putting my son in with that monster. Okay? Honesty. I respect that. I was like, oh, I'm not going to call you a duck. Because when we ask you fighters to be honest, and you give us the honest, and look, he's just not ready, right? When Juncho said, coach said 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever it was, he ain't ready for Naoya Inoue. Honesty. Honesty. That's all. I can't be mad at you for being straight up. Y'all talking like men now. And because of the fact you came out and was like, nah, we ain't ready. Now I got to call you a duck either way. You're a duck if you're honest, or you're a duck if you're not. Nah, fuck that. Not on this channel. I could be critical to situations. And I could point out bullshit. But the fighters, what they do in the ring, we could talk about the sweet science all day. I'm going to tell you right now. Like, you can't win the fans over with bullshit. You can't just sit there and claim to say that your son's the greatest fighter in the world, or blah, 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 blah. He ain't did nothing. He ain't did nothing. You know, a lot of people want to talk about Tank, right? But at least Tank did some shit. And he's continued to do some shit. Tank's exciting as fuck, right? So regardless, people can say, oh, he's doing that at 11. I don't give a fuck, right now. Okay? If you sign up to fight the man, Frank the Ghost Martin, and you're talking all that shit, and you get knocked out like that, then all of a sudden we want to take the victory away from Tank, like you still ain't fought nobody. Yeah, that's part true. But Frank the Ghost Martin signed up for that shit and got dealt with. Um, Lamont Roach, he just looked good, and I told the world this. He just looked good against Tank because he was familiar with Tank. He sparred with Tank on several occasions throughout years. Um, it was just familiarity. He knew Tank Davis's mannerisms. He knew what Tank Davis was already doing because same thing with Loma and Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz trained with Loma for 3 years. On the day they fought, he made Loma look old. Then we said Loma was washed and goes and fights Devin Haney and looks like the old Loma. Because Devin Haney didn't have that kind of information. He never sparred with Loma. He didn't know what he looked like in front of him. That's what Lamont Roach had on Tank Davis. You put Lamont Roach in with the other guys, he's not going to look like that. He knew things about Tank Davis most fighters weren't privileged to. Why you think Tank Davis went to get another coach? Because the Lamont Roach that was fighting Tank Davis at sparring against him, that was a Calvin Ford trained Tank Davis. They try to change him to throw off Lamont Roach a little, but Tank just diverted right back to the old fighter, and Lamont was picking up on him. He's like, oh, I seen this before, Tank. Yo, you got me with that shot before. Slip, pop. I know what you're going to do. That's why Lamont Roach looked like that against Tank. Not because Lamont Roach is turned all of a sudden into a superior fighter from 130. He wasn't a big puncher down there. And like I was like, fuck out of here, bro. No. Nah, I know a little bit about their story, Tanks and him. They actually was pretty cool and shit. He's real familiar with Tank, bro. That's why he looked that good against them. He's never gonna without Tank, Lamont Roach, he needs to go back down to 130 and watch out if he doesn't lose that belt. He's not him like that. That was just a case of familiarity. Don't read too much into that fight with Lamont Roach and Tank Davis. I'm telling you guys. Don't read too much into it. Tank's probably going to knock him out the second fight. Probably will. Yeah. They need to pay the Schofields. The Schofields is the champion. They deserve to get paid since what is becoming a Yo, listen. Let me tell you something. How do they deserve to get paid, the Schofields? How is it that they deserve to get paid if they didn't complete their last contract, their last boxing appearance? They had a contract set for a set date to fight an opponent, Shakur Stevenson. He pulled out claiming being poisoned and used Dubois being sick to validate his story, but never documented proof. From the minute he got off the airplane, he said he was on his way to get said proof. To this day, he hasn't presented anything but his mouth. How do the Schofields deserve to get paid when they have never gotten paid? Meaning, their biggest bag they left on the table and hightailed it out of the city. They didn't stay there to get evaluation from their doctors. They went into conspiracy theory. Like Turkey al-Sheikh needed to pay the doctors to say the wrong thing about your son? Do you really think people went that far over your son? I'm sorry, and and I'm saying this in the nicest way, he's nobody in boxing yet. He can become a somebody by securing multiple championships, multiple weight divisions, a very strong champion. And then on that day, he's somebody. And then he can make his way towards legendary status, Hall of Fame shit, right? And that's what I mean. He is nobody right now, where that you need to avoid him. You need to be no one in the division, absolutely no one. Show me an interview, and I mean anybody that ever said we need to be avoid him or watch out for that guy. Why? He's not even a big puncher. He's not even a big puncher. I think, what was it? Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, who has he fought ever? Floyd Schofield? Who has he ever fought? Look, let's type in his boxing record, right? Floyd Schofield, right? That's what we're looking up. Floyd. What? Why isn't he coming up? That being released out of the hospital situation and what you're saying there, right, about him, what does that got to do with his payday? What does that got to do with him being worthy of a payday? What you just wrote there in the comment admits he pulled out of the fight, went to a hospital. I'm not arguing what occurred. I wasn't there. I can neither vouch or say that was true or not. I don't know. I can only go by what the Schofields showed me. What did the Schofields actually do? Son went to the hospital. From there, that night, they got on a plane, headed back to America. He did a video himself showing the world, I'm on my way to go get that proof from what he says. Since then, he's provided nothing. What happened with what you were saying? Okay. So, and then all that means you left the money on the table. That 1.1, did you get that bag? No. So if you didn't advance your pay grade, just because you had the possibility of winning 1.1 or a belt, doesn't mean you should be awarded the status of receiving a bigger payday because you were in a potential fight where you could have won that money. Okay, you never accomplished that. So now you go back to square one. That's what you should do. That's what they should do to them. You should not be awarded any kind of bravery for attempting to fight. whether you got sick, and let's just say that's true, 100%, the young man was poisoned or hospitalized, and he could not compete fairly. Let's say that is true. Okay, fine. You still shouldn't get credit for attempting to fight Shakur Stevenson. What are you looking for? You're looking for validation and saying, because we were there, because, and then unfortunately, he got sick. So my very next fight, I'm going to ask for $2.5 million to fight a who? Abdullah Mason? What the fuck has Abdullah Mason done? What the hell has Abdullah Mason done in the sport? And why would you want and think somebody would pay you $2.5 million to fight him? He's not worth $1 million. Abdullah. Abdullah is not worth $1 million, bro. And Abdullah got more buzz right now than Floyd Schofield. And Floyd Schofield is not worth $1 million. Himself, that kid, Floyd, who the fuck is going to give that dude $1 million, bro? For what? For what? You ain't beat. Stop it. Stop it. He's not worth that much money, bro. That's an insane amount of money for what you've done. $1 million is a lot of fucking money, bro. And they was going to give you 1.1 for fighting Shakur for a belt. For a real belt. Now, I couldn't say anything about that. I was like, shit, that's a world title fight. You should get $1 million for fighting a world title fight. But how the fuck are you going to convince me you want 2.5 for fighting a prospect? That's insane. Yo, the red flags have to go off in your head. The man is pricing himself out. It's not a... You've proven nothing in the sport. Who the fuck... Listen. This is crazy. Brother, they want credit for attending or attempting to fight Shakur. That's what it sounds like. That contract never was it's voided. That contract, that fight was canceled. You don't get credit for that. Not for the attempt, not for flying out there. You should get no credit for none of that. Neither should Shakur Stevenson. Why should Shakur Stevenson get a pay raise or ask for more money in his next fight against William Zepeda, if that ever occurs? What, Shakur Stevenson, you never fought Floyd. You didn't defend the belt, Shakur. Like, Shakur knows this. He's going into another negotiation, another contract, right? And like all fighters are trying to get, but the one thing difference between Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Schofield, Shakur Stevenson got a belt. He's the WBC world champion. He's got something. I don't get it. Fun line. It's crazy. Schofield is the champ. What are you talking about? I saw you say that, like, down there somewhere. Schofield is the champ. Schofield is ranked number 11 in the IBF. The only champions in that division IBF, Lomachenko, WBC, Gervonta Davis, WBA, Gervonta Davis, WBC, Shakur Stevenson, and the WBO champion is Keyshawn Davis. There is no Floyd Schofield champion in this division. I don't know who you're calling champ, or you just like to say the name. Maybe he was a Golden Glove champion or something, or youth national champ, but he's not a pro champion. And as long as we're talking about professional boxing, Floyd Schofield is not a world champion. Not a world champion in that division, right? Floyd Schofield is ranked number 11, IBF. He is ranked number 2 to Gervonta's belt. William Zepeda is number 1. He's ranked number 2 in the WBA. For the WBC and the WBO, Floyd Schofield is not ranked in the WBC, and Floyd Schofield is not ranked in the top 15 in the WBO. He's not ranked at all in the WBC, and he's not ranked in the WBO at all. He's the number 2 in the WBA, which is the most corrupt organization in the entire world. Everybody and their mama can get a ranking on the WBA. It's the easiest belt to go for, right? And then, but respectfully, he does have a number 11 ranking for the IBF, which is a serious belt. But he's number 11. That's the best. That's the best he's done. That's what they're saying. I can't talk him up more than what he has accomplished. I can't do that. Just because if you're a fan and you believe he can do it, that's great. But he needs to do some shit first. And I'm telling you right now, the way his dad is talking, I think, and I've never advocated for this in my life. I love, work it out with your dad, bro. When Floyd and them was arguing, I was upset behind that. I was really upset. Floyd should have, no matter if his dad was popping shit to him, he should have been the bigger person as the son. You knew, at that point, your dad was old and shit. If anybody you're going to, respect or let him talk to you like that, the one man, it should be your father. It should be your father. You need to, but this dude is doing outlandish shit that as a man, I would be foolish to say that he's lying, not telling the truth. Bro, come on, man. A tow truck driver, they found drugs in the car, went in no, bro. No, I'm a grown ass man. I can tell bullshit when I hear it. No, I'm not going to give you my chain because you're going to clean it. No, you can't wear my bracelet. No, I ain't giving you $20. Bro, no. I know bullshit when I hear it. And there's no way on God's green earth you can actually, with a straight face, do a video and say, give me 2.5 to fight Abdullah Mason, and that we take you serious. You sound like one of them people that live in a fantasy world. You know those people like boxers that they think because this guy's getting paid $20 million, well, then I should get paid $5 million. That's not how boxing works. That's when the people come out and, yo, dumbass, we'll pay you $5 million. Hey, Floyd Schofield, shit, we won't give you 2.5. We would give you 3. Just sell some damn tickets. Fill up the arena with your name. Get the people to come out and see you. And we'll gladly give you 2.5 million to fight Abdullah Mason. Gladly. Sell out the arena first. Can you Can you give back on your return rather than sticking your hand out and thinking that everything you're asking for, you should feel entitled to? Really? That's not how business works. That's how a fantasy fan's mind responds. Should these boxers get paid this much money? Yes. And if you ask me, the money's not worth it. That 2.5 ain't even worth it for what these dudes is getting they fucking face punched in for, right? But there's a business side to that. Just because I feel that he should get paid, right, doesn't mean they're going to get back on their return. He's not a star. He's not popular. He's not a pay-per-view fighter. None of these things Floyd Schofield is. How the fuck are you going to... He's not doing Gervonta Davis numbers. He's not even doing that. If he was doing $5 million at the Barclays Center, then Floyd, my man, you can ask for whatever the fuck you want. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying they shouldn't pay the man. Shit, give him $10 million. I don't give a fuck. But you're going to have to earn that. You're going to have to sell some tickets. Do $5 million at the gate. How much you sold on pay-per-view? How are you as a fighter asking for all this money, but you're not giving anything? You're not a draw. Does Schofield deserve 2.5? He deserves 10, 20. There. But should he get that? Hell no. Brother, how am I going to give you $2.5 million when I don't even make $2.5 million at the gate in your fight? I can't even pay you. This is a business. Money. You ain't worth one. Floyd Schofield, you not worth $700,000 fighter right there. Maybe. I can get him for $350. Maybe. What? Who are you fighting? Let's see. Who are you gonna fight? Can you fight Frank the Ghost Martin? Can you fight Andy Cruz? Huh? Who are you gonna fight? Andy Cruz. What's he got? 6 fights or something? 6 fucking fights, right? Oh yeah, I was gonna look up Schofield's thing. I might have like typed his name wrong or some shit, or right? But we're gonna go do that, right? Andy Cruz got like 6 fights. That motherfucker ranked number 3 in the IBF. You think they're gonna pay Andy Cruz next fight $2.5 million to Andy Cruz when Floyd Schofield is ranked number 11? 11. And like I said, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work by your ranking system. You should be paid more money. It doesn't work that way. The way it really works, what are you selling? Are you packing the house? Yes or no? Are you doing $3 million gates, $5 million gates? Are you a pay-per-view fighter? Are people, celebrities, flying in across the world to show up to your fight? When they look into the crowd of your fights, who do you see? Is Sylvester Stallone or all the actors and NBA star football players, hockey players, soccer players, are they all at your fight like that? Because if not, how are they going to pay you that money? How? That's what I mean. Like sometimes you got to think about fictional reality over fiction and feelings versus opinions, and don't get in your feelings when you think, oh, this fighter deserved this shit. Motherfucker, listen, they all deserve it. Give them all 100 million. Okay? If it was up to me, the money's not worth it, bro. We talk about this all the time. Go watch an interview with Hitman Hearns. Go remember what Ali used to look like. These dudes, some of them, they can't even hold a conversation. They pay the price for that. Ex Vinny Payenza, ex fighters like that lose their mind at the end. A lot of my champions don't even speak right. The money's not worth it sometimes. We weren't designed to take punches in the face for 36 minutes, for 12 rounds, for fucking a 20-year career. You're going to pay for that. And I hope you made enough money to cover your medical bills because you're going to need it. It's not about like in a situation like that, brothers. Nah. Let me tell you something right now. Who am I to tell Floyd Schofield what he's worth, what he thinks he's worth, or what he should ask for? But the obvious is the obvious, my man. You might want to consider or hold yourself to a high standard, but there's sometimes shooting too far. That little old trickery where you think, well, what I'll do is I'll raise the price and they'll meet me halfway here and I'll get you that kind of money. Mentality in boxing is not going to work. Because in boxing, these sharks are also doing the same exact thing to you. You really think that nickel and dime mentality of street hustle is going to get you the money? We're going to play, shoot this high, and they're going to come here, and we're going to get right there, and you're going to give me... No. They're going to give you exactly what you were worth the entire time. You think you're dealing with suckers? You think you're dealing with these dudes that never put a fight together, don't know what their value is? You think they've never overpaid a fighter before in the past and learned from their mistakes? You think a fighter has never said that? Let me go high, low shit. No, brother. No. You're just blatantly pricing yourself out. Now, I heard Abdullah Mason talk. And if there's any truth behind what he said, right? I saw the interview where Abdullah Mason got on and said, yo, me and Floyd Schofield, we went one round in sparring. And after the round, Floyd Schofield didn't say a word. He just ducked his head underneath the ring and walked off. He walked right out of the ring. And Abdullah was like, what's good with him? Like, what happened? Why did he leave? Only one round of sparring against Abdullah Mason with Floyd Schofield. Out of Abdullah Mason's words, they just left. They just left. And I was like, maybe he put the Beats by Dre on him. And now that they relive it, this moment, why, like, I'm trying to connect the dots. I'm not trying to call any of these guys liars or like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Abdullah Mason's a liar. You know, I'm going to say that Schofield's father's a fibber. Okay. He's definitely a fibber. All right. Right. The son, by validating the father's shit, he's just involved. If you're a grown ass man, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in situations where I lied and I covered for my mom or my dad. You know what I'm saying? And they asked me shit, and I was like, I ain't saying shit, right? So I validated my dad's shit, right? At some point, had that like been a thing or everyday thing or something, I would have had to have been like, yo, I've gone on this ride far enough with you. It's time for me to get off this ride. You know, I can't go down these kind of claims and shit like that. I just wouldn't do it. Just, I'm not built like that. I can't co-sign fucking your bullshit like that, bro. I mean, maybe one or two, my man exaggerating about some shit he did with some bitch in the. Okay, all right, whatever. You, yeah, he was with her. Yeah, right. Okay, one every day, every nah, bro. You're gonna turn me into you. I'm gonna be saying fake shit just like you. You gotta keep your word strong as a man. And I feel like this anyway. If I'm speaking for myself, I'm speaking for myself then. But I would like to know that if I told a man, yo, listen, I'll be here tomorrow, I'll bring the car part or whatever the situation is, and I'll bring it to you. You can count on me. That he doesn't doubt my word. He knows I'm gonna be there. And whatever I told you, you can count on it. At least I know when I walk around the city or whatever, and a dude, like, I like that about myself, that I've been in situations and somebody that was like in the building or in the shop or something was like, nah, he's good. He's good for it. And I look back and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, boom. And I like to be a man of integrity, of you know what I'm saying? All this fantasy shit, bro, and getting your son to value. That's what I'm talking about, bro. In a sense, he's just as guilty. The kid. Schofield Senior here, man. Brother, like, I don't the first thing about this whole situation in general, no one ever asked you about these stories. No one. You chose to go on these podcasts. You chose to you volunteered all this. You're the one that said this because of all these situations. Had you said nothing, just concentrate on the fight, we wouldn't be criticizing your son or you for any of this stuff. Just remember that all the situations that we're talking about are not boxing. Just remember that. We ain't talked about the sweet science when it comes to his son and no fucking podcast. Why are they always arguing situations, headlines? He said this, they did that, they did this, and I got sick here and that and this. Who the fuck asked for that? They gave you that. They go on an interview on these boxing channels to talk about boxing, and that's what you end up talking about? Who did this? You. Who's to blame? You. Why are you continue to add stories on top of stories? Who ever asked for any of that? By you going on and making a video and saying, I wanted this to get out there, I want $2.5 million. Did you really think that the audience or the fans would say yes and Turkey gives you the two? How does that work? Why didn't you just call Turkey? You're in business. You just had a business. You know how to get a hold of him. Wouldn't it have been better for you to call him and ask for the money? Why did you have to go on social media and announce that? Why? Because and then people are going to say something about your son ducking because he's been in headlines because of story after story. When does this all stop? When will it ever go back to look at what Floyd Schofield did in the ring? Did you see how he kicked that dude's ass? He knocked out so and so. When are we going to go back there? When I want to talk about him beating somebody, winning some championships. I want to talk about what he does in the ring. Somehow, some way, this is good. Somehow, some way, this is good. For who? For who? The father needs to realize, Schofield Sr., he's not on his son's level. He's not on his son's level. He thinks he should be able to talk and speak, that we should listen to anything he has to say. Who are you? His father? Well, then get behind him. Because your son is doing the fighting. That's who we want to meet. That's who I want to talk to. That's who I want to see in the ring. I can do without anything that the father has to say. Anything. The fact that his ego and that he thinks he's bigger than life, without doing anything, he has the right to speak. And I'm like, bro, anybody in the world got the right to speak. I'm talking on my platform. Anybody can answer or whatever. We're fans. We know our place. I'm doing a show. I know my place. Where's your place? You're his dad, his manager, or coach, or whatever. Well, then play your place. Who the fuck said that you're the PR team and that you decide what stories and what narratives should be in your front of your son's career? Why don't you shut up and let your son talk? You're not your son. The problem is that the father has this delusional grandeur that he needs to talk. He needs to speak up for his son. Why? Why? Because you're his dad? No, that's not necessarily true. There are hundreds of boxers that have sons and their father's neither their manager or their coach. Where's their position then? Sitting right there buying a ticket as a fan. The right place to be. His son wins. The father says a few encouraging words for his son. That's about it. The father chooses to allow the son to grow in his own spotlight for what he's rightfully deserving, getting in there and fighting for. He's taking the punches. He's doing the fighting. So why shouldn't you respect your son by stepping back? Why is it that you're almost sharing the spotlight with your son and saying it's out of love? No, that's not love. That's just you wanting the spotlight, being selfish. And everything you brought to your son's career was because of your mouth. The dad is not getting in there and fighting. So why should he be talking? I want to hear from the fighter. That's it. And that's the problem sometimes in father-son's relationships. You see Naoya Inoue and his father? Do you see Shingo jumping around all the time, talking for his son? No, his father's like this with his hand behind his son. He knows his place and his position. When we're out here in the media, that's you, son. But when we're in the gym, that's where I'm dad and coach. And you, Naoya, and you take orders from me. That's a coach and father-son relationship right there at its very best. I'm not saying that everyone has to be that way. Devin Haney and his father got a peculiar situation too, right? And there's a lot of great chemistry in that. And I support father and son thing, but that's not what's going on here. That is not what's going on in this situation. In this situation, you can't compare the Schofields to Devin Haney, Naoya Inoue. No, because what Schofield Sr. is actually doing is trying to hog up the spotlight. His little social media following that he got off his son's blood, sweat, and tears. The only reason why his social media is popping is because of what his son is, a professional boxer. You might have been there the whole entire way. You might have drove your son to the boxing. You might have supported your son. You might be the backbone to who the man your son became. And if you're all that, then why don't you step out of the way and let your son be that man? What is it with this thing that every time he listen, my son, yo, it's outrageous, bro. And I'm always with the father-son thing. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather should have like not snapped on his dad like that, bro. His dad be talking shit, Floyd's dad, but fuck it, man. That's your pops, bro. You that's dad right there, bro. Like I would always show my dad mad respect and shit, even though my dad was a fucking asshole to me. But if there was any man in the world I should forgive, it's my dad. It's my dad. So I was always like raised like that, but that's come out of me, morally out of me. No one taught me that. I kind of figured that out by myself. But in Floyd Schofield situation, that's not what's happening here. That is not what's happening. These storytelling thing and what's getting, it's like he's living in a soap opera world. It's not healthy. What he's doing is not like any other father and son relationship. And you can never compare them. I can't even compare him to Bill Haney's shit talking because the Schofield shit is on a different level. See, Bill Haney is shit talking. That's 101 shit talking, putting your foot in your mouth. That's Bill Haney. Floyd Schofield, we got pulled over. Drugs got in our car. They broke into our hotel room. No, you're making accusations. You made accusations to Shakur Stevenson that they were trying to sabotage you, him in particular. That's a whole different level. That is not shit talking. That is not an argument. What you're doing is on a different level. Now that's alarming. And that, in that sense, is where I'm saying you need to get that young man away from that man. Because he's starting to like experience narcissistic behavior over his son. I mean, he got him sitting there nodding, agreeing to all these lies. You got to see what's going on there. That is nothing like Bill Haney or fucking Oscar and his dad and Floyd and his dad and this. No, that's not that. This is much different. What Schofield is doing, much different. And that's why for one of the first times in my life, would I have ever say, yo, bro, you need to get away from your pops. I can't ever remember. Yo, and I've seen some bad son relationship. Yo, nigga, he's your dad, bro. Like, my man, you gotta like try to like work this through. And I wouldn't advise anybody to put your hands on your father, man. You know, have that much respect, bro. If you actually putting your hands on your parents and stuff, like, you don't respect nothing in the world. You know? My mom used to hit me for some crazy shit. And I would block it and shit, but I'd wait for her to calm down. And my dad did punch me in the mouth one time. I got flipped with my mouth one time. And yeah, I remember that as a kid. Now I was like 12, 13. Yeah, I tried this new thing called sarcasm in my house. It didn't work out too good for me. Nah, I didn't. Yeah, I remember that now. Now that I'm talking to you, I did. Yeah, that's the last time I tried that with Pops. Yeah. Yeah, I was young as hell. I remember that. But that's my take on it, on this situation. The difference between what they're doing and some of these other fathers, and you can't compare it. No, man. Bill Haney should talk shit for Devin. Shit, he makes shit interesting sometimes. He goes a little over the top, like all the time, right? But Bill's doing his fucking father. He's a he's a manager, a promoter, a dad, a trainer. You know what I'm saying? He wears a lot of caps, Bill. So sometimes it's hard to catch him in dad mode and just having a good time with his son. He's always got like a defense on because they've been going through some shit, some good headlines. Devin, the loss. We know what it is, right? Bill saying, "I'm gonna send my son out there to kill this dude." You know, all shit talking gone wrong. You know, Bill, he's pretty, a pretty good shit talker. I'm a pretty good shit talker myself, but sometimes I like to step back and watch a master talk. I'm just like, let me hear Bill what he got to say today, because he's a master shit talker, right? And and that's what Bill does, But 100% Bill loves Devin Haney. Bill loves Devin Haney, and Bill has done everything in his power to try to put Devin Haney in. Sometimes things don't work out for you. Bill, they left a lot of money on the table and they made bad decisions here and there. And as a star and as a celebrity, so to speak, because Devin Haney is a star, okay? No matter what you want to say with his ticket sales or whatever, what they want to lie to you about or whatever, he's still a fucking professional athlete, fighter, and I give him his props. And Bill Haney, like, right, he definitely, like, you know, um, it, when you see, the problem is when you're a star and all your issues and problems are always put out there to social media, it's fucking hard to live that kind of life too. You kind of like don't have any privacy from the women you date to all everything you do, and you got to start learning that as a celebrity, every time you step out your house, you represent your family name. Every time he walks out the house, you represent the Haneys, all the little brothers, all of them. And you got to keep the family name up, just like the Jordans and shit like that. And you don't want to have your name in the newspaper every week because it'll be. So, yeah, man, like, Schofield seriously is a genius at promotion. This guy must be Floyd Schofield Sr. Or either you are him on my channel hopping on with a different name, or you must be sleeping with him or something. I don't know, bro. Because there's no genius about narcissism. There's nothing genius about what he's doing at all. There's like zero genius behind it. You want to talk about a genius promoter? Floyd Mayweather. He is a fucking genius. Not only is Floyd Mayweather a genius in promoting his fights and the way he went about his business, because he truly fought the best for a long period of time. You see, in Floyd, the real Floyd Mayweather, right? He at least he had big moments. He had Oscar de la Hoya as a dancing partner. He had big fights. He went in the ring, beat the shit out of Arturo Gotti. He fought champions after champion after champion. He's he did some shit. He's the man that fought the most world champions in the history of boxing. He has that record by himself. Then where Floyd is a real genius, the motherfucker ends his career as a boxer, right? And the new wave of boxers that were coming up, Floyd must have been sitting there looking at his records and saying, damn, how long is it going to take before somebody comes along and breaks my records? Fights 27 world champions, goes up six weight divisions. And Floyd never unified undisputed status in none of the divisions. The most he ever had was 3 belts in one division. So Floyd decided, he said, all right, you know what I'm going to do? He started promoting that belts ain't shit, that you kids need to break away early in your career and be your own promotional company. Don't fight for titles, get the bag, right? Then when Tank Davis and all the fighters, that Ryan Garcia started saying it. At one point in time, Keyshawn Davis was saying it, Bell saying shit. And all of a sudden, all these boxers started saying Bell saying shit. Floyd must have been in his house twiddling his fingers with us. I would have did it. Put on a fake mustache with the thing with the little curls and just sit there and go ooh right? Because that was the greatest genius boxing move I have ever witnessed in my life. You mean to tell me, Floyd, you got these kids saying they don't want to fight for belts? Well said from a man that fought 26 world champions. By the time Tank Davis woke up and said, oh shit, I haven't done anything. I got no legacy. I'm just saying I'm the best. He was already 30 years old. And Floyd knew, you're not going to catch me. You're not going to catch me in divisions. You're not going to catch me in champions. You didn't even catch me in money. And he put that out and made the next generation of fighters believe they didn't need a belt. So none of them are going to the Hall of Fames. They're not going to be strong champions, right? The majority of them, right? And Floyd did that. Now that is genius promotion. That is truly diabolical. What Floyd did, he's protecting his records. Nobody's going to be able to move up 5 weight divisions. Tank ain't going to do it. But yet all Tank can say is, I'm better than Floyd. But you're not showing anything that you did better than him. Like nothing. I don't care about your dollar amount. You could take all that money you made in boxing, and when it's all said and done, go to the Hall of Fame and buy a ticket. You got enough money. But what you're not going to see is your face on that wall. And they're not going to tell your story. And after 10 years pass, your name will be soon forgotten. And these men's name will live on forever. Immortality in the Hall of Fame. 30, 40 years, you can go there and your name's going to be right there. But as long as you don't go after those belts, move up throughout the weight divisions, you thinking about getting that bag, you'll be a thing of the past. And Floyd did that. Floyd's got all these kids thinking, protect the O. It's the best thing to do is become an undefeated fighter, right? None of these kids are taking risk to lose. Protecting the O will accomplish you nothing. Because that's not even a legitimate award. That's actually a personal thing. Retiring 50-0, where's that award in boxing history? He retired 50-0. So he retired 30-0. He retired 60-1 and 0. He retired 73-0. So what? That's not a world record. In fact, it is not a record at all. And Floyd got them all thinking to retire undefeated. He's a fucking genius. A genius. By the time these kids wake up, they'll never catch Floyd. He'll remain the king for at least until these kids snap out of it and stop trying to do this Philly shell shit and just fight. He's tricked the game in so many different ways. Yo, it's mind-blowing. Like, he's got all these dudes thinking they could do this. No, you can't do that. No one can. Not like Floyd. You would need all his attributes. You would need everything that made him Floyd in order for you to pull it off. But these kids don't understand that. They're out there getting knocked out trying to look pretty. Yo, he's a real genius. Floyd Schofield's father, I'm sorry, but I've never met in my entire life a more poor of excuse of a man trying to depict himself as something he truly isn't. He's not a genius boxing promoter, and nothing he's ever done has ever paid off to this point. Actually, his biggest fight that he had for 1.1, they never cashed in on it. How could you be a genius on failure? How could you be a genius on not getting it done? You're at that point, you're in delusion. It's like these delusional grandeurs of big but what do you have to show for it? If he was such a genius, geniuses are considered successful. You haven't successfully completed anything. Where's your genius? Where does your genius lie? Please, I'm curious. I would like to know. How are you considering Floyd Schofield's father a genius? Where is his genius? I just pointed out where Floyd Mayweather's genius lies. I can actually pick out where he's a genius in. He was a masterful class boxer. His genius was in the ring. He was one of the greatest boxers I've ever witnessed. I can actually point out all his genius moments and every genius thing he did. Where could you point out just one Schofield successful genius moment? The stage is yours. Please type it in. I would like to hear it. Just one. One thing that he orchestrated as a genius, put it together, it worked, and it was successful. Where? Let's see if somebody got something for me. Oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna put it in the box. Maybe you would like to come up and have an adult conversation. We don't have to swear at each other, disrespect each other. Just have a conversation. I'm a bit of a conversationalist, right? You can talk to me. I can talk to you. I got no problem. All right? We just got to get to the bottom of things. And if you would like to get to the bottom of things or get something off your chest, I'm going to put the link right here. And on my live show, we can have an adult conversation if you would like to. If you want to stay in the chat, no problem. That's your opinion, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to put it up there for anyone because my man here has a lot to say. So Schofield Sr. said he just put a number out there. He put a number out there and haven't sent an offer. Who the fuck is Schofield to put numbers out there now? What is this? What number does Schofield got to put out there? Is he putting the money out of his own pocket? He doesn't have that money, so he doesn't have the right to say he put a number out there. What number? Brother, you're not promoting this fight. Did you go to a purse bid and bid on it? See, that's the bullshit I'm talking. I'm a grown-ass man, bro. Don't sit here and lie to me. You don't have the power to do that. You don't even have the power to say that. Just because you could say something and rolls off the tip of your tongue doesn't make it. He just put out a number. What number? They send you an offer, you look it over. That's your position. You're not an A-side fighter. You're not a champion. You don't call shots. And you're definitely not funding your own fight. So where's this mysterious number that Schofield thinks he has the right to lie to the boxing public? He ain't putting up $1. And that's what I mean. He's talking about shit he shouldn't be talking about, trying to sound smart. And he's making himself look like a fool. He doesn't have that power. Fuck, get the fuck, man. Bro, he thinks because boxing you can say anything that everybody's stupid. That he sound like he almost said something intelligent. And he didn't think nobody would catch that. Bro, I'll catch that shit in a second. I've been in this game for a long time. I fuck with boxing promoters and lower levels. I go to boxing matches. I'm in gyms, bro. You think because he says something and it sound remotely, well, he was just trying to get out in front of it, and the number he decided to put up. Bro, that is not your pay grade. You don't make those kind of calls. Come on, man. He just needs to stop lying. Just, brother, stop. Just stop, man. Listen, it's a sad case, bro. Like, I'm just like, my dude, like, look, I've explained it. I broke it down, bro. I am not against a father and son relationship. I think that some of them strain. I think you have bad moments, but I don't think you should ever give up on your dad. You know what I'm saying? I think that, but there does come a point in time where shit might get out of control, out of hand like that. Um, and I broke it down for you guys. If you guys want to go back later and rewind the tape and listen to what I had to say, I think you should do that because I clearly broke it down. This Schofield situation is not like Devin Haney's situation. It's not like Floyd Mayweather and his father's situation. It's not like none of that. This is like, who's this? Bang bang. What my dude? What's good, baby? Bang bang. Can you hear me? We'll let him fix his little audio. I don't know if you gotta like put it out or whatever. What? Reports are saying Shakur Stevenson paid in July is supposed to be July 12th. I seen that too. It's supposed to be rumored for July 12th. I guess that's the date, the venue, and everything else. We haven't really figured out where like that, but that's the date I guess they're shooting for. But bro, I'm starting to think about Shakur, man. His hands might be really fucked up, bro. He might have gotten to a point where his body's falling apart on him, and that's fucked up because I always felt like Shakur was right there to take off. Like he had a couple bad nights, but fuck it, as a boxer, man, you could have some bad nights and shit, but Shakur would, I was just hoping he would get a good name in there and really shine and get back to that winning, like dominant ways and shit. I could hear you, Bam, a little bit here. What's up?
What up? What up?
Are you here? What's going on?
You going live tonight for the
For the what?
fights in Orlando?
Oh yeah. The fight card with Jose and them. He's gonna be out there. Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to get on early today, give a little afternoon show and shit. Then I gotta call Camachito and see what he's doing. And then we're gonna like set up and see if you guys want to come on the Corillo and we could all just sit back and watch some fights together if you want.
Dale, I'll see you tonight.
All right, Papi, I'll see you tonight. All right, one. Yeah, so you can stick around, Bang, and just chill if you want, but yeah, we'll just kick it tonight, shit. But yeah, man, like Bam, like I was talking about right here, man, this situation with Schofield, and I was talking about William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson, and yeah, you were right. They were trying to schedule something for July. Let's see what happens. But I also like a real fight that's being scheduled, like Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin De Los Santos. I heard that's a done deal. They came up to, they finalized it. They got, everything's a go. I like that. Now that's a real fight. When you would look up Keyshawn Davis, I can imagine on Box Rec, right? Keyshawn Davis, bam, 13-9. Let's see. Oh, it's in Box Rec right there. Edwin De Los Santos. That is official tissue right there. Yes, it is. It's in Norfolk Arena Center. The Scope in Norfolk. They're gonna fight there. They already got it for the WBO. Edwin De is right there. So that is official. I like to see that right there. Come on, Keyshawn Davis, baby. Woo! That's a good one right there. I'm telling you, man, if Keyshawn can beat Edwin better than Shakur, man, that's going to say something. Now, I know the little situation between Shakur and Keyshawn. So either one of them's going to have to move up. If you guys ain't going to fight each other, maybe Turkey will pay them enough money. They'll get in and fight each other. But, yeah, Keyshawn Davis, man, that's a good fight right there. I like that fight. He's 13-9. So, yeah, let's and then and with these other situations, it's mostly one of them is a hypothetical and the other one's a possibility in my eyes. I don't think Shakur Stevenson fights William Zepeda. I really don't. I'm sorry. And the other one with Abdullah Mason with Floyd Schofield, I think that realistically, Floyd Schofield should fight Abdullah Mason, right? He should fight him because Abdullah got a big buzz, okay? And although they might say that he was still young or whatever, if you beat him, well, then don't worry about his career. Worry about your own. And beating a kid, a hot little star like that, can turn things around for you if you're not fighting for a title fight. If you were fighting for a title fight, then I wouldn't fight Abdullah Mason. I would go after the title fight. Of course, that's a no-brainer, right? But if you got nothing to do, you ain't got no fight scheduled, I would have took that fight for a little bit of money, whatever they would have gave you for it. I think it would have been like, should have been like maybe 400,000, $500,000 or something for a fight like that. It's a non-title fight. You're not headlining. You're going to be under the undercard. Whatever undercard you are, they got to pay the main event. So it's not you that they're coming in to pay the tickets to watch. It would be the main event. Unless you were headlining. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any, like, for example, Brian Norman Jr. just fought on the Mayor undercard, and he made $150,000 for defending his belt. He made $150,000, and that was a title fight. So how the hell does Floyd Schofield deserve $2.5 million for fighting Abdullah Mason when a real champion, Brian Norman Jr., fought on an undercard and made $150,000? Where does Schofield in his fantasy world think he's even worth that much money? He's not worth $1 million. I don't know what sucker would pay him $1 million to fight a prospect. Wow, that would be, I would have to see that to believe it. And if he can get somebody to pay him $1 million to fight Abdullah Mason, whoever you got to pay you, let me know who he is, because I got a flying pig back here in my house. He got wings. He flies. No, you can't see him. You're going to have to give me $1 million and just trust me. Because if you can get, I can talk my way into $1 million then. I want to know who would give you that much money for that kind of fight, bro. Please let me know, bro. I'm going to sell him something for $1 million, bro. I guarantee you. If you suck at that man to pay, man, listen. Shit. Brian Norman Jr. got $150,000 for a title defense on an undercard. And you guys don't think that this guy's crazy for asking for 2.5, never actually ever making $1 million in any of his fights, ever? You can't get credit for what you thought you were going to get in one fight. He said yesterday's prices ain't today's prices. What you mean? You never got that price. He's really delusional. In order for you to say that statement, you would have had to have cashed in on the first. You never even got that. Yo, he's truly, truly delusional. You can't get credit for a bag you missed, a bag you left on the table. You want me to pay you for it because you took a shot and came up short? Where do they do that at? Where? Bunch of participation trophy kids. I think that's what's going on. Yeah, but Schofield has to be like my age. Schofield Sr. I might be older than him. I don't know. But Schofield Sr.'s he's gotta be up there. So I don't know if he came up in the participation trophy era. Maybe he did. Because the way he thinks, bro, if you came up to me with that bullshit, you were trying to do some business with me, bro, I'm going to ask you one time as a man, are you joking with me? Like you fucking with me and shit, right? Because if you're not, you're disrespecting me. And in about 2 seconds, I'm about to smack the shit out of you. So please tell me you're joking and that you don't consider me to be a dumbass. And that you really thought you were going to come in my office and talk to me like that? You really thought you can pull one over on me? You must, and before you open your mouth, you should have thought whether I would get offended if you talk to me like if I was a dumbass. Because I find that very offensive. Especially when we're talking about millions of dollars. We're talking about $1 million conversation. You're not going to play with my money at that level. Shit, you're not going to play with my money on this level. Never mind. Come on, gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's talk like gentlemen, man. Let's have a little bit of sense. I know you don't fall for every sad story you hear. Girl walks up. I don't got no way back home. I want to get on this bus, but the ticket's $150. Can you help me out? Here's $150. She went and bought crack. Right? Do you fall for every sad story you hear? Just because somebody can say it, does it make it? Or do you like look up some shit and like call somebody out on it? Wait a minute, what you saying ain't making sense. Right? And I'm saying like, hell no, bro. Where was this dude, Schofield dude is just he's playing a dangerous game with real shit on a Facebook timeline, and he think he can lie at a world-class level. You're not just telling a lie to somebody in the neighborhood that you won't see again, or you could just lie to him or tell him a fucked up story and then the story doesn't come back around. You're telling stories on a world fucking stage, right? Where the viewing audience can tune in at any time. 2 years from now, they could fucking pop up on your, hey, remember when you said this? Those kind of lies are not just gonna, you gotta learn that shit just doesn't go away like it does in the neighborhood. See, in the neighborhood, it'll go away because eventually people will move on with their lives or move out, move in, or you guys will stop feuding, and you might have said a outrageous lie or why you did or didn't do something, and with a little bit of time, people will forget about that. But when you put shit out on social media, that shit doesn't go away. Schofield's got to understand this. 10 years from now, I can make a fucking video of everything he's ever said and just put a great hit and make him look ridiculous. And they can do that forever. You better learn where you're at. The tongue is a double-edged sword, my grandmother always said. It's a double-edged sword. It can cut this way, and you can cut yourself that way. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble with your mouth. And I'm just like, yo, what he's doing is not, there's no genius behind it. What he's doing was presenting the problem and then also trying to create the solution to a problem he created. He created all this. The car, the passport thing, those were all his stories. He wanted to get to the bottom line of all his stories. Because for damn sure, we all know that's bullshit. 100%. Nothing that he said was true. I will never vouch for that and say that there's a 1% possibility that there is a world where two black men can get arrested, drugs can get found in their car, the cop has the drugs in his hand, and the tow truck driver says, wait, I put my hand in the hood of the car, this car hasn't moved, somebody's setting these guys up. By golly, you're right. Take the cuffs off of them. We're sorry. Do you want the drugs or, because somebody put them, we'll keep the drugs, okay. But you guys are free to go. I will never in my life believe that story. And I will not sit here and say that there's a possibility that that happened. There's a 1% chance that ever happened. And if that never happened, and you got caught on a lie in there, then my man, where's your genius? Where is it that what you started is going to end result in something good? Sometimes things can look really bad. They can be a blessing in disguise. This is not one of those cases. It wasn't a situation where something unfortunate happened to you. No, this is a situation where you created the situation. And now it's like you're trying to solve your own murder case. You're like the detective that killed the girl. They called you in, and last night you did that shit. Type shit. Brother, there's no genius. He's just self-destructing. That's different. Every move, don't try to always find the good to everything. Sometimes there is no good to it. Things sometimes are what they are. Stop trying to spin it. Nah, this dude is a narcissist. He thinks for some strange reason he's on his son's level of success. That when he talks or goes to these interviews with his son and his son don't like to talk, I'm going to do the talking for it. That's a bullshit excuse for you getting in front of a camera off your son's hard sweat, blood, and tears. I don't see Naoya Inoue's father fucking grabbing the mic, just vomiting. Like, no, I don't see none of their dads doing that shit. Jerron Boots Ennis dad only answers questions he's asked. Typically, he's allowing his son to be in the front. When Jerron Boots Ennis won, his son was at a podium and his father was sitting back here. He wasn't sitting on the podium with him side by side with a microphone, This mic working? Making sure that his mic, no, if they ask you a question, then answer it. No one asks you to talk for anything. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't ever be talking at a post-fight interview. You're not the man fighting. Your son is fighting. The world wants to hear from the fighter. And if we have a question to ask you, then you answer it. But you should never start off your son's conversations. We don't want to see you. We never ask for you. We want to see the fighter. That's why I watch boxing, to watch the boxers. I want to promote the boxer, not you. Not you. If we ask you a question, then answer it. Other than that, get behind your son and stand right there and know your position. Thank you, fight fans. It's been a pleasure. I'm probably going on tonight. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the video. And I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys know what it is.